Hey everyone, Poindexter here. Lieutenant Meier scored his first kill on his first sortie, but it was an unnerving experience for this fresh pilot. Approaching the bulk of B-17s was an image he would never forget. He will get plenty more opportunities for victory, as the Americans show no signs of letting up. Still, morale is high in the group, and the boys are eager to get to grips with the Americans. Another bombing raid is expected very soon, as the weather continues to be good. Lieutenant Meier is ready. So, let's get started. First, we roll for the day's weather, and it's a 12, which is bad weather. This will greatly affect our landing success at the end of the sortie, with a +2 modifier added to the dice roll. Despite the weather over Bernay Airfield, the Americans are on their way. They're heading to Rouen-Rail in France, which is well within our range. We take off and make our way to the bomber fleet. We make contact with the bombers and maneuver into position for the attack. The bomber group is once again made up of B-17s. Lieutenant Meier begins his attack run, head-on against the B-17, targeting the airframe. This time, he will not use his reflexes skill first, but will instead attack with an extended burst. Extended bursts add extra random hits to a successful attack, but they use up 2 ammo bursts instead of just 1. Also, an extended burst could potentially jam one of your guns, sometimes both. Extended bursts can only be used at long or medium range only. Also, the B-17's return fire will increase by 1 random hit due to Lieutenant Meier having to hold his course longer in order to fire the burst. Rolling for the extended burst, Meier will cause 1 extra hit, and fortunately his guns will not jam. Lieutenant Meier fires away, causing 5 hits to the bomber. 2 engines are hit, along with damage to the airframe and wing. The B-17 returns fire. 2 hits are scored, plus an extra hit for Meier's extended burst, damaging the tail and the airframe, plus knocking out the radio. Meier continues his attack, closing to medium range. With his radio knocked out, he is unable to call for his wingman. He'll have to go this round alone. Using his reflexes, he will be able to cause more damage to the bomber before it can return fire. Meier, aiming for the airframe, peers down the gun sight and presses the trigger, using up the last of his cannon ammunition. 1 hit has no effect, but the other knocks out a B-17 gunner, reducing the bomber's return fire by 1. The B-17 fires. The radio takes another hit, and the starboard wing is damaged. Lieutenant Meier, frustrated at the durability of the American bomber and deciding that moving to close range may be suicide, he decides to break off and return home. With the bad weather, a +2 modifier is added to the landing roll, and a roll of 5 makes 7, which is a safe landing. The B-17, despite 2 damaged engines, does not crash on the way home and makes it back to England. Meier's 109 took at least 4 hits. As a result, he will be forced to sit out 1 sortie due to repairs. With his 109 finally repaired, Lieutenant Meier is ready for another sortie. The weather over the airfield is good. The Americans have been detected and are on their way. We'll be intercepting the bombers over Rouen-Rail in France. Lieutenant Meier takes off and heads for the raid, and makes contact with the force. Maneuvering into attack position, Lieutenant Meier observes this force is made up of B-24 Liberators. This is a good thing, as the B-24 formations are not quite as lethal as her B-17 brethren. Lieutenant Meier approaches his bomber from head-on and long range. Meier, aiming for the airframe, uses his reflexes to get in a first shot. 2 hits are scored on both port side engines. The B-24 fires at Lieutenant Meier's 109, and he is hit and seriously wounded in a hail of accurate gunfire. Lieutenant Meier immediately breaks off and heads for Bernay. Despite his serious wound, he manages to land safely. However, Lieutenant Meier has sustained multiple injuries and will miss the next 5 sorties while he recuperates. For injuries sustained in battle defending the fatherland, Lieutenant Meier is awarded the Wound Badge in black, which gives him another prestige point. We also update the player log sheet and mark off 5 sortie spaces for Lieutenant Meier's recuperation time. He will return to JG-27 by mid-April. Lieutenant Meier's fortunes have not been good. He was unable to shoot down any American bombers in his 2 sorties before being seriously wounded by accurate gunnery from a B-24, which put him out of action for several weeks. The silver lining in this otherwise grim spectacle is now that Lieutenant Meier has 2 prestige points, he has the opportunity to switch to a fighter craft that was built to destroy bombers, the Focke-Wulf 190. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon.